Good evening and welcome to the Chatham Airport Commission meeting of Wednesday, July 13th, 2022. Meetings beginning at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. This is a remote participation meeting only, but there is a live broadcast on Channel 18. Pursuant to Governor Baker's June 16th, 2021 signing of an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, including the extension of his March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, Mass General Law, Section 30A, subsection 20, until July 15th, 2022, this meeting of the Chatham Airport Commission is being conducted via remote participation only. Every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may do so by calling the number 508-945-4410 and enter conference ID 829-352-139 followed by the pound sign, or you can join the meeting online via Microsoft Teams through the link in the posted agenda. While this is a live broadcast and simulcast on Channel 18, despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide the real-time access. We will post a record of this meeting on the town's website as soon as possible. What we need to do next is to look at the minutes and approve the minutes of the June 8th, 2022 regular meeting. Hopefully you've looked at them, and if you have any additions, corrections, or deletions, whatever, let it be known.
Do we need a roll call?
Thank you very much. I usually write that down in my notes, but today I didn't. Thank you. Roll call. Commissioner Burke.
Here.
Commissioner Cortese.
Present.
Commissioner Donovan.
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Galen.
Here.
Commissioner Hobeck. I think he's out of town. Commissioner Owens.
Here.
And Commissioner Harrison is here. Now, moving to the minutes of June 8th, 2022. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions in those minutes? If so, please say so. Hearing none, I will take a motion to accept the minutes of the June 8th, 2022 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, we've got competition there.
Oh. Don't we get $5 every time we second something?
Is that, I think I heard Dave first there. So Dio, I know Mike Cortese said something, but we'll give this one to
I was
Dave.
second.
All right. Okay. Public announcements. Anyone in the public have any announcements?
Better vote on the minutes.
Oh, geez, thank you. Good to have a clerk. Keep me in line. All right. Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes of June 8th, 2022?
Motion to accept.
Oh, we did that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Roll call. God almighty. Wait a minute. Can we start this over? Anyway.
It's done too long.
Yeah, I guess so. All right. Roll call on the minutes. Commissioner Burke.
Yes.
Commissioner Cortese.
Yes.
Commissioner Donovan.
Yes.
Commissioner Galen.
Yes.
Commissioner Owens.
Yes.
And the chair says yes. All right. Now, moving on, public announcements. Are there any announcements from the public for the good of the order? No agenda requests or anything from the public. Okay. Moving on to public comments on new business. Are there any comments on new business? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to new business. And the first order of new business is the annual commission reorganization. Do I hear any motion for reorganization?
Yep.
Commissioner Owens?
Yes, I move that we reinstate the current slate of officers for the Airport Commission for the period 2022 to 2023, which would be Chairman Huntley Harrison, Vice Chairman Mike Guyland, and Clerk Ted Burke.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion? Remember, this is for the slate of the entire group that currently is serving. Okay, hearing none.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm happy with the current slate.
Oh, thank you very much. All righty, thank you. All right, we'll go for a roll call. Commissioner Burke,
Yes.
Commissioner Cortese,
Yes.
Commissioner Donovan,
Yes.
Commissioner Galen,
Yes.
Commissioner Owens,
Yes,
Commissioner Harrison, yes. Thank you all very much. We will continue to march on as we have been. All right, commissioner reports. Commissioner Burke, you're up.
Question.
Pardon?
Commissioner Owens has a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, didn't we also vote to have Mr. Donovan do some of the administrative signing the last time we reorganized?
I don't remember. Right now, I think the vice chair has that automatically.
Okay, just checking.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Okay, the airport revolving fund for the period of June up until the end of the fiscal year, we received additional rental receipts of $3,273.34 for a net annual amount, which is, by the way, the close of the business year, $38,915.12. Personal services, there were no additional expenses. The yearly figure for that was $1,123.09. Purchase of services for June was $6,750.51, bringing the yearly total to $113,962.49. The Hangar T leases received an additional $4,410 for a total of $62,567.11. The Coronavirus Aid Relief and Economic Security Act of $13,000 grant has all been applied, as has the American Rescue Plan Act, the subtitle Airport Rescue Grant Program of $32,000. I should make out, I just got Huntley just forwarded me an email from Samantha that there still are funds being transferred for one another. So the figures that you see in here are not closed out annual figures, as they're going to be slid from one account to another, just as an accountant bookkeeping device. And that's it.
Okay, I think just to comment on that, as I understand it, what the town calls the cleanup warrant is currently being worked on, and certain expenses and transfers and what have you, and items that came in at the very end of the year are being taken care of now. So we'll have a full accounting next meeting in August. And that should reflect the the money that has been shifted from the revolving fund into the CARES Act grants that we've received. That was 45,000 total. So that will reduce the revolving fund by that amount, given that we've already had $5,839.70 already recorded. So that's a good thing. And I think in the last meeting, I noted that there were, and it's in the minutes, that they had found all but, let's see, they had allotted all but $2.31.
Yep.
Of on one grant, and I can't put my finger on it right now, but that was one number, and then the other number was very close to the full amount also. So, that'll be a good thing. All right. I don't think we need. Oh yeah, we do. I guess we do need to accept the revolving fund. Have we done that, or am I just making that up? I'm making that up. Okay. Thank you for your report. All right. I'm having a bad day here. All right. Like Dave said, too much sun. All right. Commissioner Cortese.
Yep.
Your report, given the fact that we do have a business item on it later.
Yeah, no, nothing to report today.
Okay. And turn your volume up just a tad. Okay.
Okay. I'll
And
try. Yeah.
thank you. Commissioner Donovan, you've got anything today?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Galen.
Nothing for me today, thank you.
All right. And Commissioner Hobeck's out of town. Commissioner Owens, Fisherman Storage Area.
Yeah, we're just fast approaching the complete closure of the area and trying to formulate some kind of cleanup plan. And which the commission has mentioned before, any and all material left will become the property of the commission. Was also still banging around some different uses for that area and possibly a couple other areas of the airport to create some more revenue for us. So I think in the coming few months, we might be able to start making a little more money. But I know the big thing, which is going kind of slow, is the weather station balloon release.
Yeah, an update on that is that the select board last night approved a letter to be sent to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration regarding the site, and requesting that they include us in the RFP process for the site. So, we're making progress there, but it's got to be, typically small steps at a time. But so far it's been very, very positive. So that's a good thing. Commissioner Cortese.
Yeah, just took my hand down. Thank you, Chairman Harrison. Actually, I would make a comment on the minimum standards. I have all the data. I've been reviewing it, and just in case I can't or I lose the connection later on in the meeting, and we'll have more information on that in the coming months.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And let's see, Commissioner Owens, you're all set?
Yes.
Okay.
That's all I have for tonight.
Okay, thank you. And for my report, I would like to start off with a short moment of silence for former Commissioner Richard Hunter, who passed away in the last couple of weeks, and then a short discussion to follow. So if we could have a short moment of silence, I would appreciate it. Thank you. That said, I'd like to have a short discussion on how we might honor Dick Hunter. There have been a couple of ideas passed around. But I'd like to, before I get into that, I'd like to see if anyone has any ideas of your own out there. Commissioner Galen.
It's a bit pie in the sky, but I think when the time comes that we've gotten our new administration building, I would suggest or that it be named for Dick.
Okay, that's
I realize,
a good idea. Okay.
I realize that's not a definite or done deal, but I think
Right.
that would be an honor well deserved.
Okay. Tim Howard.
Yes, Huntley, my suggestion, one that we talked about was the snow removal equipment building, as Dick was key in getting that obtained and processed through. We also have internal plans to get a plaque and memorial item for the wall of the airport lobby area in Dick's honor.
Okay.
You don't think the SRE building was that much of a nightmare for Dick?
Well, he fought for it.
Oh, I know. I remember.
Yeah, I did talk with Sue Hunter the other day about this, and she's good with whatever we come up with. I didn't suggest the admin building, but I did suggest the SRE building and possibly a plaque somewhere. We don't have to make a decision tonight. It's just something that I want us all to think about, and then we can maybe make a decision and vote on it at the August meeting. Anyone else have any possible ideas, given what Dick Hunter did for the commission over his years? I mean, he dealt with the runways. He dealt with a whole variety of issues over the years. I don't know. Any other comments on that? All right, well, that's fine. Tim, what was the second thing you said besides the SRE?
I was just letting you know internally, it doesn't have to be a commission thing, but we're definitely moving forward with getting, I was provided with an excellent photo of Dick when he had shortly, or just after he obtained the airport's first pickup truck vehicle, our 2000 pickup that we have today. It's a picture of him with the truck with an airplane behind him right after we got it. Alan Pollock at the Chronicle was kind enough to share that with me. So we're going to have that, we're going to upload that to, I think, Zazzle, and they make a really nice plaque with the image, and then we'll put verbiage in the bottom, and we'll hang that in the lobby. And I'm open to input of what we say, but we can certainly, have input on that if needed, but we were going to do that ourselves here. But certainly a plaque on the exterior of the building, or a memorial rock or flag, or the SRE building, all that is more than justified. Dick served for almost 20 years and gave a lot of his time and to help the airport, and to really, he had really no dog in the fight other than he was in a butter, and he just thought that the airport was a very important part of the town, and got the short end of the stick quite a bit. So I appreciate all his efforts, that's for sure.
Okay. All right, well, we can think about this, and then anyone who has any feedback between now and August, let me know. And like I say, we'll take it up possibly for a vote at that time and move forward with it. Okay. Next on my agenda, I know that Commissioner Owens talked about the fisherman storage area. It's not completed yet, but I'm in the process of writing a letter to the tenants of the fisherman storage area to let them know that the time for the gate closure is coming up. I'm not quite sure what that date will be yet. I've got a couple in mind, But I think I've been talking to Dr. Duncanson and also with Terry Whalen, and I think we all feel that it's time to probably get it locked up very, very soon. I was up there yesterday and noticed that a lot of material has been moved out, and I got a letter from one of the fishermen yesterday indicating that he could be out by the end of July, which is a good thing. I've got to get in touch with a couple of others, and just so everyone knows, only 3 have ever talked to me or responded in any way. So, you know, hopefully they're getting in there, getting their stuff. As Commissioner Owens said, anything after we lock it up is for us, the commission. We will dispose of it and do what we can, and then start the whole process of carefully cleaning that area up. Commissioner Owens.
What's the progress or status on a new area for the fishermen's storage?
Dr. Duncanson said that the very new area is yet to be designed, but they're thinking about a temporary area for the fishermen that have gotten in touch with me. So that if the area that's planned for the future is not ready yet, they can store some of their material in a temporary area. Exactly where that is, I'm not sure. I think it's over by the off of Middle Road, by the sewer plant. But I'm not totally certain of that. I think that's where it is. But it's kind of in flux. But you know, the most important thing is that they've been moving things out. I think the most difficult part of this whole thing is when fishing season's over, and if they haven't got a place. And after so many years, I don't, it's tough for me to feel that well, it's just unfortunate that we're in this position, and it is what it is, and we'll just have to move forward and adjust as best we can. Commissioner Cortese.
Yeah.
You got your hands up and you're muted. No?
Thank you, Chairman Harrison.
Did I lose you?
Yeah, you might have. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Just wanted to say, I think the commission and the airport has given a lot of grace to the situation with the storage area, and as all of us, I think all of us feel, we don't want to displace the fishermen, but I'm glad we've got a new home for it, and we just have to move forward with it, with what it is.
All right. Yeah. By the way, just so you know, your picture is frozen on the screen, so you might want to go just to. I'm at a
real low connection, so I
Yeah.
shut off the incoming video as well.
Yeah, I would just turn it off and just do audio.
Yeah, that's what I'm on right now.
Okay. Oh, then your picture's frozen in perpetuity here.
Is it a good picture or a bad picture?
Yeah, it's not so bad.
All right, hold on.
Oh, that's
There
better.
we go.
Oh, now I got a hat on. All right. Moving on for my report, I have sent a letter to the planning board, which kind of recaps the history of the effort for us to inform them of the situation with the runway protection zone. I've included the PowerPoint presentation from last February, and also the advisory circular from the FAA explaining and defining what RPZs are. And there was one other item in there It's in the correspondence package that you all received, and that when the planning board will take care of that, I'm not sure, but that's probably going to come up, and they're going to let us know. And I did promise that we would help them with any questions they have, but I basically said in the letter that the onus is on them to find answers to their questions, other than the fact that we would help them as best as possible. With regard to the coming up in the business portion, the EV charging initiative, I've asked, as I did in the last meeting, I've asked certain commissioners to come forward to let me know their interest in certain of the topics that we're covering. And Commissioner Burke has stepped forward for the EV charging. And he will follow up with correspondence and things like that with them, and share with us at subsequent meetings what's going on. At the next meeting, I think we'll have a short report, and then I think in the September meeting we'll have a presentation by the people we're working with on that. We haven't forgotten the workshops. That's still in the works. I've got to spend the next time between this meeting and the August meeting, setting up a workshop, probably the same workshop we were going to do in June, on the mitigation of obstructions in the approach areas, and we'll take that under consideration probably at the first workshop. And the only other thing, and this will come up in the CIP discussion, which is coming up in a little bit, and that's on, we'll discuss some of the different repairs and infrastructure improvements we're looking at. So that's it from me on commissioner reports. And I think everyone else has chimed in, so I think we can move on to the airport manager's report. Mr. Howard, you have the floor.
Yes, sir. Just getting my video on there. Okay. So good evening, everybody. Number one item, as usual, is our guard report for June. And you can note by that report, and I can tell you also by observation, airport activity obviously is increasing per usual for the summer season. Item number three, we had another very successful Monomoy Community Services event in the back airport hangar at the administration building complex, where they had their food and music festival for a kickoff for the summer 2022 season. The attendance was more than last year. Community Services tells us about 200 plus, and they had a great reception of it was great with the customers, and they're already asking if they can do it again next year at the airport. So that was a great event. And then item number four, Chairman Harris had already touched on, former airport chairman, Deputy Chief Richard Hunter passed away on Sunday, June 26th. Obviously, everyone here at Chatham Airport, customers and users of CQX owe Dick big debt of gratitude for all the things he's done to keep the airport and get things upgraded and fixed over the years for over 20 years of service. Number five is actually more of a question versus a discussion point. I know the commission has discussed at least one other occasion the supplemental security camera upgrades for the airport. And I'm not sure exactly where we stand with the funding and approval on that. So I'd like to ask if anyone has recollection on that, so I know if we need to move forward on that or what else needs to be done if I need to get a renewed estimate due to price increases and whatnot, or et cetera.
You know, I remember discussing it. I don't know if we ever voted on it. Do we have any input on that from any other commissioners? If we haven't voted on it, I think the information was in the package. It was $22,000. It was in, I think, in the March, I think it was in the March package. And I know we talked about it. We might have put it on hold just temporarily to see if some money was coming in through grants and what have you. But I think what I'd like to do is I'd like to move forward on that. So if I could have a motion to move ahead and spend that money for the Galaxy cameras, I would appreciate it.
That's the time. They told us you couldn't get in.
I can't hear.
So
I'm
moved.
sorry.
Second,
So moved. Hang on a second.
second,
Okay, so Commissioner Burke moved it. Commissioner, I believe Cortese seconded it.
that's correct.
All right. And this money will either come from a federal grant or it'll come out of the revolving fund, depending on where we go. Terry Whalen, if I remember correctly, we do not have to go out to bid on this because they are a state contract company.
Yes, and then because I had discussed this with Craig Rowe from IT as well.
Oh, and he's good with that? Okay. All right. So we've got a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. Any further discussion on the purchase of the Galaxy cameras? All right, we'll go over the roll call. Commissioner Burke,
Yes.
Commissioner Cortese,
Yes,
Commissioner Donovan,
Yes.
Commissioner Galen,
Yes,
Commissioner Owens,
Yes,
and the chair says yes. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll move forward with getting that program going.
Yep, thank you. And I think, I just wanted to point out for anyone who might be interested on the guard report that Saturday, the 11th was the open house, which is why the bar is off the chart there. So if anyone
yes,
in the public is curious about why there was so much traffic on the 11th.
Yes, that was absolutely correct.
Yep. Okay. Next on the agenda is the engineer's report.
I think you got to vote on that, I think.
Oh, I did it again. All right. Do I have a motion to accept the airport manager's report?
so moved.
second,
Okay. Thank you. Roll call, Commissioner Burke,
Yes.
Commissioner Cortese. You there?
yes,
Yep, I think I heard you. Commissioner Galen,
yes,
Yes,
Commissioner Donovan,
Yes.
Commissioner Owens,
yes.
and Commissioner Harrison, yes. Okay. Thank you all very much. Moving on to the engineer's report. Mr. Karen, how are you this evening?
Hey, Huntley, good evening. Good evening, members of the Chatham Airport Commission. So not an overly robust update this month from Gail. We are still working on a variety of options for the Airport Commission to address the trees that are penetrating the approach surfaces. As more information comes along, as we start getting approvals on certain options from the town, from the FAA, Mass DOT, et cetera, we'll present those to the full commission for, I guess, Huntley for approval or for methods to move forward in that regard. Otherwise, I don't have anything else to really report on that this evening.
Okay, I'm still waiting for the town to get back to me on that. I know
Okay.
there was an email from the town manager asking people who I had originally included in my email with the set of options that we presented to them to please respond, and I'm still waiting. So
Yeah, and I think there's still, a couple details we're ironing out and some questions we have with some of the options that we're pulling together. So hopefully it won't be too much longer and we can start working to address the obstructions and get rid of the trees and do something that's, amenable to some of the property owners, or all of the property owners, I should say, in both runway 24 and runway 6 approaches.
Right.
And then
Okay.
just one last item, Huntley,
Yep.
I just wanted to bring up that, let me just pull my notes up here, that we did meet with representatives of the Airport Commission. I believe it was maybe just you, Mike. I'm not sure if you were there, I don't recall, in the FAA. And we did discuss the bipartisan infrastructure law funding.
Yes.
And the laundry list of projects that we had sent over to the FAA for their consideration. Just, as a reminder to the Airport Commission, that bipartisan infrastructure law funding is providing $159,000 a year over the next 5 years, or approximately $159 per year, which is above and beyond the airport's $150,000 non-primary entitlement funding allotment that you get on an annual basis. So the BIL funding does follow a similar pattern to Airport Improvement Program funds. So generally speaking, if it's eligible for AIP funding, it'd be eligible under this BIL funding. And so we're just working with the FAA and eventually the state on some projects that will make sense for the airport moving forward. Just by way of example, if you don't mind, Huntley, we talked about perhaps fencing the entirety of that fisherman storage area where the airport property extends. There was some talks of some repairs to the existing administration building, some generator discussion, some electrical discussion, things like that. We're navigating, those with the FAA to figure out which projects will be eligible for that BIL funding, and then we'll obviously come back to the commission for approval, and then start moving forward to spend some of that money and get some of those improvements, made.
Yep. Yeah, no, I think we're moving in a good direction here. It's nice to have that kind of money out there. And also, as I learned, that we have several projects that are eligible. So
Yep.
that's a good thing. We just have to put together which ones we want to start with and go from there. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Thank you. Do I have a motion to accept the engineer's report?
Motion to accept?
Motion to accept. Thank you, Mr. Cortese.
Second.
Dave Owens, thank you. Okay, roll call. Commissioner Burke,
Yes.
Commissioner Cortese.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Donovan,
Yes.
Commissioner Galen,
Yes.
and Commissioner Owens,
Yes.
and Commissioner Harrison, yes. All right. Next on the agenda is the basically what we were just talking about, the FAA 5-year capital improvement plan. This is something we're going to have to vote on. If you could all turn to that in your package. And there it is on the screen. So some of the projects listed here, and I've got to get my page here. We looked at the construction of new terminal building. What we did there was we just put in a proposal for that. There was nothing, that we were, again, it's an infrastructure improvement. Terminal, I think, is not a great word for it. That's the FAA word for it. I would more put it like administration building. We have aging infrastructure with our existing buildings, and if we can get a grant to put up a new administration building, I think that would be something that we could look forward to. We did get a letter back from the FAA regarding that funding and our application, and they said that we did not get accepted for this year, but to look forward to what they call NOFOs, which are notices of funding opportunities in the future. So we're not locked out completely. I think as time goes on, we'll just keep putting our application in and hoping that that they'll come back with a positive yes. You'll get the grant. I think I'll be working with Matt Karen over the next few months on possibly tuning that application, enhancing it a little bit, making it a little more amenable to being selected. This time it was a very speedy turnaround. And I know from the email I got back from the FAA on it, they had a link to the map of the United States and all the airports that got grants, and they were all the larger airports across the country. Logan, you might have heard in the news, got 50 million. There were other airports, Dallas, Fort Worth, LAX, all the bigger airports, and some of the regional airports that needed infrastructure improvements got money in this first round. So, it's okay. We'll just move forward and wait and keep looking for those, as they call them, NOFOs, and hopefully get our application in each year. Next is the generator for the main building. I've asked Tim Howard to start looking at various companies that do provide for that. And this is AIP eligible, so we can pay for it with out of that $259,000 that we have available to us. So once we get, that's probably something we'll have to bid on or send out for bidding, and because it'll probably be a pretty expensive unit. And so that's in the works. And the roof leaks. Now, when we talked to the FAA about the roof leaks, they said only over the hangar specifically, not the restaurant, and not any part of the administration building that's underneath, office space or whatever. I would hope that when we talk to them and get down to actually doing that project, that they would look at that and say, look, the square footage of the restaurant and the square footage of the above the office space is so little that it would be just might as well do it all in one. I'm hoping that they would go for that. I'd hate to see us repair the roof and then have another contractor come in and do, 100 square feet of roof that could have been done with the hangar. But I don't know. I don't know how strict they're going to be on that. But that means, I guess putting down a rubber membrane and then sealing it off so that it doesn't rain inside like it does now. So that's what we're looking at for this fiscal year, finishing up the year with that. And moving on, the electric service repair in next year, that's for the storage hangar off the back of the main hangar. The electrical service there is not compatible with a lot of the things we want to do now. And so that needs to be fixed. Plus, there's some repairs back there, which you can see as the second item to the back hangar structural members, which are very, very old and need replacing and work. Tim, could you chime in, please, on both of those?
Of course. So the electrical one and the structural members, is that correct? That's what you're?
Yes. Yep, please.
So the electrical, that was a project that was started, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and was only partially done due to budget problems at the time. So the original scope of that project was to replace the main electrical service panel in the back hangar because it was a manufacturer and type that was known to cause fires. Made by a particular company, I can't remember, I think it was Federal Pacific or something like that. So the number one thing was to get that panel all replaced, and then to basically reorganize and redistribute the wiring to the rest of the building. So the restaurant circuits are all insulated. Excuse me one second. So the restaurant circuits are insulated from the rest of the building, and the 3 sub panels that feed the rest of the building are all properly labeled and categorized, so we actually know what powers what, because the building as it exists now is a menagerie of add-ons and et cetera that have caused us lots of concern over the years when troubleshooting electrical problems and having issues. Also, the sizing of the circuitry for the restaurant upstairs is barely adequate, and we're seeking to improve the capacity and the safety of that whole branch of the electrical service. So that was the original scope. The only thing that wound up happening was the main distribution panel was replaced, and that's where the project died. So the remaining reorganization and regrouping of the electrical service never happened. So that was the electrical service item. And then as far as the structural repairs to the back hangar, the back hangar, as we call it, is what they call a pole barn construction. It relies on heavy, I think there are maybe 12 or 14 by 14 beams vertically supported by outrigger cables, etc. A number of the vertical beams are heavily rotted at the bottom. Fortunately, they're fastened with big steel 90-degree angle plates above that, but there are multiple ones that are almost completely rotted out at the bottom and are solely supported by the angle brackets, which is not really the design intent of those. So definitely some repair and replacement of that of those lumber pieces is needed. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Is that something that Dale could do?
Yes, CNR Associates, Dale Rival, has looked at the hangar, the pole barn vertical member issues, and yes, he has indicated that that's something he could take on. However, the electrical service stuff that is beyond his scope, we need a competent and well-versed electrician to deal with that, and that's not going to be a fun one because of the labor involved and a lot of very old hardware and circuitry in the building from over 100 years of etc.
Well, let's look toward, we are in fiscal year 23 now, even though the 22 projects haven't been done, but we are in fiscal year 23. And I think for the fall, I'd like to make some progress on both of these, and I'll talk to you about each of them and who we might get for the electrical. It looks like we've got someone for the hangar, the structural repairs. And again, we'll have to take a closer look at that cost-wise. And then also, as I said, look for someone to do the electrical service, but I'd like to get that going right away. I think I'd like to get the building tightened up for the winter.
Okay.
You know, electric generator, you know, the whole thing. We've got the money. It's something that we've been waiting to do for a long time, and I think we should just, you know, we've got to just move ahead on this.
Okay, we'll do.
And I'll talk to you obviously offline about details, but that's something I'd like. I think to me that's a very important project for that building, because the longer we wait, the more it's going to deteriorate. And
agreed.
That's not good. Other commissioners have any comments on these top 6, well, 5 or 6 bullets in the CIP? We all good?
Are we including the paving the parking lot?
Yeah, I was just about to talk about that. Sorry. Yeah, the parking lot, that is probably going to dovetail with the electric charging, the EV charging. And, you know, I don't want to go in there and pave it and then have them tear it up. But I also, and this, I'd like some feedback from you guys on this. I'd like to take the paving all the way down to the SRE building. You know, the SRE building has a pad in front of it. But the land dips down and then comes up again as you get to the SRE building. But I remember for the access to the open house, they brought cars down off the gravel and in through that secondary gate to the left of the main vehicle gate. And I was thinking about the possibility of paving all the way down to add parking space and everything else that would go along with that, like the EV charging stations and so on, and access, possibly even a secondary access or exit from the, just hang on, secondary access from the parking lot where you have an exit a little further up George Ryder Road. We have an entrance right now to the main vehicle gate, but maybe have the exit going out another way. The only thing with regard to that is the dip and drainage. So there'd probably be some engineering involved in that. And anyway, any comments? Peter, you've been involved in construction. You know that area. What do you think about that? Do you think that'd be very difficult? I don't want to just go in there, and I don't think we can go in there and just pave it, because I think there'd be puddles and water draining places we don't want.
Gonna have to have an engineer look at it, and then they're gonna have to put, you know, drainage swales and catch basins in, but it's not that big a deal, but, you know, just have to figure out the grades. So
Okay.
Definitely worth looking at. You know, it's a good area, good parking area.
Yeah, I thought so. And if in the future there's in the current ALP, there's a design for a terminal building in that area as you face the runway to the left of the main vehicle gate. And if we can have some parking in there for the future, that would be good.
Yeah.
Thank you. David?
There's been a problem, I think, for years, all along the terminal building and I think the back hangar, all along the George Ryder Road area. There's, I think, 4 downspouts on the terminal building in the maintenance hangar. And then I think there's 1 or 2 beyond that. And all the earth between the pavement and the building slants toward the building. And I know we've talked about this when they were doing repairs on the back hangar. I'm not an expert on drains, but I think if we were going to do paving out there, it might be a good time to put in a really good drainage system out in that area and run all those downspouts out into that area and get all the water away from the building. And then, which would also probably help in the future if we were to do more, you know, new construction or something in that area.
Yeah, I do know that one possibility, if we do pave it, the other, and if we go through with some of the ADA options that we have, that we might put a sidewalk in along George Ryder between those 4 or 5 parking spaces, which are perpendicular to the back hangar.
Right.
Between there and the main gate to the administration building.
Yeah, and I think there's still enough room there for parking, you know, a little bit that would probably accommodate a sidewalk. But
yeah, but under that sidewalk, like you said, that's a good idea. We could put drainage pipes going out into if we're going to tear up, we might as well tear it up. And
get away from any of the building. If we had some kind of good containment system for the water, we could use it for maybe an ice skating rink in the winter or something, we could make a little extra money.
Well, yeah, that'd be kind of interesting. Okay, let's see, Commissioner Cortese? Your hand is up, or is that from before? Good, it's bad connection. I lost him. Well, hopefully he'll come back. All right. Tim, did you have something to add?
I was just going to add exactly what Commissioner Owens was saying is, yeah, that drainage issue over there, that's a really good idea. That's been slanted towards the road drainage is slanted towards the outside of the maintenance hangar in the building for some time. We continually have water penetration from that for as long as I can remember. So if that could somehow be rectified, when we're doing the any parking or further development along the roadway there, that would be only good news for the longevity of this existing building.
Yeah, I think that's something we could add to that without much difficulty. So I'll talk to Matt Karen about engineering on that. Probably do it offline just to get it started. See what he thinks. The one addition to this is that the funding came through for the bikeways project that the presentation that was made for us or made to us, and these are February or March meeting. The bikeways project got their funding, and I wrote back to the person who presented and said that we're interested in talking further about it. We have some ADA issues that we'd like to discuss as part of that project, whether we pay for it or they can incorporate it into their project for little cost or what. And I haven't heard back from him, but I'm hoping to at some point in the near future. So I think we've got a lot of things that would work with for our ADA initiatives and fixing things up to make us a little more adaptive, so to speak. Commissioner Cortese, I see your hand again. You there? He's trying. Okay. Next on the list was the airport fencing. That was 2024. We might be able to move that up. Remember, these CIPs are flexible, so we might be able to move that up. And then, of course, we've got some others. You can see the tree clearing and the jet fuel facility, which we'll talk about at a future time. That's so far away right now. I don't think we need to worry about it. Remember, these are flexible. Things can move up, they can move down, depending on how things go and how funding goes. So what I'd like, if there's further conversation, I'd like to hear it on the CIP. Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to accept the CIP going forward, so we can formally get moving on these
Can you hear me?
projects.
So moved.
Thank you. And that was Commissioner Burke, I believe.
Yep.
Thank you. And did I have a second?
Don't worry about it.
Second,
Can you hear me? Second?
Thank you. Who's that?
Second.
Mike? Mike, I can barely hear you. I got you, Dave. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, Mike, I think your connection is dying on you.
They didn't say fruit cup. It's
I asked her to use- I should
Okay,
have also-
roll call.
I should have also. I should have-
Commissioner Burke,
Yes.
Not quite coherent.
Commissioner Cortese, Commissioner Cortese. Okay. Commissioner Donovan,
Yes.
Commissioner Galen, you still
Yes.
there? Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Owens
yes,
and Commissioner Harrison, yes. I think that was. Did anyone hear Mike Cortese? I don't know if he, I think that was a 5-0 vote. Okay. Unfortunately, Mike is having problems. Okay, next on the agenda, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it, is a yeah, Mike just voted by phone. I got a text message. He says he's having problems. I know I think he's out camping in the woods somewhere, so I'm sure the cell service is not great. All right. The next on the agenda is the minimum standards for commercial aeronautical activities. The last draft, as you'll note in your package, was in June of 2017. This is just a beginning discussion on this. I think if you read through the preamble on the year 2000, and again, look at the advisory circular from the FAA that's included in your package, you'll find out what minimum standards are all about. And it's for commercial operations at the airport. It's so that everyone who wants to have some kind of commercial venture at the airport, everyone's on the same level playing field. So they all have to meet certain standards, and we present those standards for them so they know how they can run their businesses. There is some flexibility within them, and you'll notice that the FAA, because this is for all airports, have information in here that don't necessarily pertain to small airports like Chatham, because they talk about air carrier and air taxi and what have you. So the key is that we review this, we edit it. Commissioner Cortese has kindly volunteered to take this on as part of his as part of my request to have commissioners get more involved in the operations of the commission, and he's working on it. He's gathering information. So I think, without getting deep into this at this meeting, we'll put it off, and perhaps I hope have a fuller discussion at the August meeting. The one thing you should note is that the FAA does not approve or disapprove of minimum standards. The minimum standards are up to the airport. They will, however, make suggestions, because once we get it done and approved by the commission, I'll submit it to the FAA to see if we've done our due diligence with them, and see what they say about it. But I think, this first time, it's a lot to digest. I worked on it back in 2017 with a former commissioner, and we got fairly far into it. And then because of the master plan, we put it on hold until such time that the master plan was completed and accepted. And so that's why we're bringing it up. And this is kind of the first look at the minimum standards. So I would hope that everyone gets a chance between now and August to look at it so we can have a substantive discussion. And the way I'll do it is I'll break it down into sections. So we're not trying to digest the whole thing at once. And so at one meeting, we'll do several sections. The next meeting, we'll do several other sections because it's just too much to do at once and figure it out. So probably what we'll do is vote on individual sections as we go through them, edit them, and approve them. Does anyone have any questions or comments about the minimum standards document that you received or any of that information? I may be able to answer it for you. There's a lot of good information that Terry put in here. So I strongly suggest you take a look at it between now and August. Any questions from anyone on that? Commissioner Cortese, are you able to say anything? I know you started looking at this. Are you on or not? No, I think we lost him. Okay. Well, given that he can't participate right now because of the lost connection, we'll move on to item G, which is the electrical vehicle charging station grants. And I will need to get a vote from you all to pursue the level 2 and level 3 installations. We had a good meeting today with some people, a fellow from Rivermore Energy about the EV project, and we're going to try to get an application in for that. I just got a message from Commissioner Cortese. He said he can vote via text. Okay, well, if we need a vote, I'll let you know. I don't think we need a vote, though, for anything else on the agenda. Oh, yeah, we do. I'm sorry, we do. Okay. And he can hear me, he says. All right, okay, that's good. Thank you. So what I'd like to have you vote on to pursue the application for level 2 and level 3 charging stations. Level 2 charging stations, they don't charge as fast as level 3 stations. I think Teslas use level 3 stations. A lot of other vehicles use level 2 stations, but by having the option for people to do that, I think would be good. I did receive, I read an article which I shared with Commissioner Burke about charging stations and issues that go along with charging stations. Not just as simple as putting a charging station in and saying, thank you very much, slide your card and you can charge your car. There are problems with networking. There are problems with the payment systems. There are problems with the payment devices. There are issues with damage to the units, with people backing into them or whatever. There are a lot of issues with this. So when it comes down to us getting a contract with someone, I would strongly suggest that we put in a 24-hour repair, or at least a 48-hour repair, if nothing else, because you can't have these stations sit there. And I imagine, like anything, each of those components are a different vendor. Your payment system, your networking, your electrical connection, all the different components that make those things work. And so, it may sound like we're opening up a can of worms with those, but I do think it's a good thing to do. And I think that some of the issues that revolve around these charging stations right now will ultimately disappear as they get better and better. So any questions on that or comments? Commissioner Burke, do you have anything to add or say about that?
No, I just, they have to be generic for to get the qualify for the Eversource funding and stuff. it can't just be related to Tesla. So it has to be they have to be used by any electric or any hybrid car.
Right.
And clearly the way of the future. I think at some point we're going to be thinking about probably providing this for airplanes in the not too distant future. I saw a special on PBS that awoke to it's the big race to get the first electric plane of the year. So I was surprised to learn that Chatham didn't have any of this. I mean, it's most communities have some form of it, and I think that there is so much funding available for airports. I mean, I was made aware of this by a friend who's a pilot a couple of years ago, that this is available, it's out there, and it's a great opportunity to take care of it. And you say this, in any rollout, there are bugs, they get ironed out. But clearly, I think that especially as we're paying $5 a gallon gasoline, even more for diesel, you're going to be seeing more and more electric cars. Now, this isn't a fad that's going to go away. This is something that's going to just grow. So I highly recommend it. It doesn't take up a whole lot of space. It produces income in that you do pay for the electricity if you want to charge your car. And it would be attraction to get people to the airport to eat lunch, charge the car, or I think it's just a win-win situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Commissioner Donovan, your hand is up.
I was curious, like, who's going to be responsible for like the maintenance and, like, let's say someone puts their credit card in and it gets double charged or it doesn't get charged. Where are they going to go?
Yeah, those are questions that we're going to have to iron out. I think it would be like anywhere else you go, and you use like a gas station and you put your card in. Like I say, we're going to have to iron all that out. As I was saying earlier, there are all the different components. You've got your networking that comes in to it. Your computer networks to handle all those transactions. You've got the actual device that you put your card in. You've got the damage to the system itself. I think there are. And they're all probably different vendors. So however unless there's one vendor that is kind of a all-encompassing service on those, and there may be people out there who do that. We're not far enough along with it to really know that yet, to have an answer that. But like Commissioner Burke said, I think it's worth pursuing and taking a look at it.
Just curious.
Yeah. Commissioner Owens.
Yeah, just a couple of, serious comment would be, and everybody along that chain is going to get a piece of the action. So we got to figure out what we're going to make off of them, and short-term, long-term contract. There's a lot of, like you said, a lot of things to work out. I did, however, recently, I think it was on Nova, had a very good program on the research and development of electric aircraft, which is quite a bit is being done. They have one that they're testing that carries 6 or 8 people, pilotless aircraft, and they have a lot of smaller. So there's a tremendous amount of work being done on a lot more than I thought. They're like way ahead of what I thought they'd be at. So
interesting. I think for short hops, the weight of the battery, is such that you can probably do it and have passengers, like you say, 6 to 8 passengers with a battery for short hops. So I think that's certainly something that we can look at for the future. So anyway, I think I'd like a motion to, if we're done with discussion, I'd like a motion to pursue level 2 and level 3 installations.
So moved.
Thank
Second.
you. Okay, Mike Galen, thank you. And who, I was looking down, Ted Burke, thank you. Okay, so we can move ahead with this. Roll call, Commissioner Burke,
Yes.
Commissioner Cortese, hang on.
Yes.
Oh, I got you. Okay, good. Commissioner, I was looking for a text
What?
message. Commissioner Donovan,
Yes.
Commissioner Galen,
Yes.
Commissioner Owens,
Yes.
and Chairman says yes. Thank you. Okay, anything for the good of the order? That's the end of the agenda. Anything else for the good of the order? Commissioner Owens.
Yeah, I should have brought it up earlier. I didn't, I spaced out on you, I guess. I was out too much sun today too. Hey, we were talking about, possibility of getting, some kind of golf cart or vehicle to use at the airport. And, I think we discussed it at a recent meeting. I talked to the airport manager about it a little bit, and he said that they used to have one, and the ones that they had were powered by batteries, which you got to really keep on top of them, because once they go bad, they're you might as well go buy a new cart. They're very, very expensive. There's also have that may that may have changed a little bit of the longevity of the batteries, but they also have propane, like they use in a lot of forklifts and things. And I don't know if there's another type of fuel. Anyway, just, observing down the airport, a little bit more traffic, especially in the summer. It might be, I'm gonna take it upon myself to try to look into that a little more. It would keep vehicles off the ramp. It would keep pedestrians, 4 or 5 at a time, sometimes coming from a plane to get over to the terminal building or the parking lot, carrying a lot of reasons. It would be something very handy to use at the open houses and so on. So I'm going to just look into that a little bit more and maybe have information for everyone to think about at the next meeting.
I think that'd be a great idea. And just so when you're looking, look for one. I've seen them where you have a front seat for a driver and a passenger, and you have some with a back seat for 2. But sometimes that back seat can fold down to a flat surface that you could put things on for transport, or maybe even a 4-seater with a platform in the back for storage, especially at the airport. If people come in on an airplane and they want to put luggage on it or equipment or moving equipment around the airport or whatever. So yeah, whatever you can find there. Tim just came on. Tim, do you have a comment on that?
No, I think it's a great idea. If we can find a sustainable vehicle, it'll reduce emissions. We'll use the the F-250 trucks a lot less if we had something like that for just small errands. Whereas now we don't have much of a choice.
We could also get a small plow for it, so we can use it for plowing and store it in the SRE building.
Well, electric plow vehicle. There we go.
Let's stick to just the simple golf cart for now. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Too much sun.
Commissioner Cortese, I see your hand up. Anything good for the good of the order?
Yeah, can you, am I coming through clearly?
Yeah, you are this time.
Oh, excellent. Fantastic. Well, I apologize. I could hear everything throughout the meeting, but I kept trying to talk and it wasn't working. Every time I took it off mute, it didn't go through. So I apologize for that. A couple of comments. I think that the upgrades or the repairs to the main terminal building are great, especially on the electrical side. During the open house, we had to provide electric service to a few food vendors, and I was mostly in charge of that, and I had to end up running cords everywhere, and I brought, I think, a half a dozen heavy-duty cords, I believe, and circuits that didn't get fixed for at least a week or two after that. So that would be a huge upgrade and change. And I like just the recent conversation, the idea of of the golf cart or something similar, and I've seen gators. They're called gators. They're four-wheeled ATV vehicles, and they're gas-powered, used at different places. An electric golf cart would be great. A 4 or 6 passenger. I've seen those as well, and they can be multi-use. Also, you know, the airport grounds are not huge, but they're big enough that during the busy times, I'm sure it'd be helpful to get that.
Yeah. Oh,
and then as far
I
as the minimum standard, what's that?
agree. Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And as far as the minimum standards go, I've just gotten all the information as of the last day or two. The files I had that I was reviewing got corrupted. I believe we spoke about that. So
Yep.
I look forward to diving into that.
Okay.
And I think that's about it.
All right. Anybody else?
Thank you for your thank you for your flexibility on picking up my texts when I was
Yeah.
I started to get very frustrated and
Well, I turned the sound off.
Try texting.
Yeah, I turned the sound off on my phone, but I saw it light up when it came through. So I said, okay, I got you. All right. Anyway, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I think
Second.
that was Mike Cortese. And who seconded that?
Ted.
Ted. Thank you, Ted. Okay, roll call. Commissioner Burke,
Yes.
Commissioner Cortese.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Donovan.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Galen,
Yes.
Commissioner Owens,
Yes.
and Commissioner Harrison says yes. Thank you all very much. I think we had a good, productive meeting. And Channel 18 and Dallas, thank you very much for helping out. And Terry, thank you. And we will, and also Matt.